want to tell you something about Claude that I didn't get right in the beginning, and it frustrated the heck out of me. I upgraded to Pro before I really understood what free could already do. And even after I upgraded, I was using the wrong effort settings for months, which meant I was burning through my limits on tasks that didn't need it. And then wondering why I was hitting the walls on the things I did. So nobody explained it to me. I figured it out the hard way, a little bit at a time, mostly from a pattern and going to look up the answers myself. So that's what this video is about. The explanation I wish I had when I first started on Claude. So we're going to go over what the free plan actually gets you, what the Pro plan actually unlocks for you, and the part most people completely miss, how the effort settings inside Claude change what you get back and how fast you burn through your limits. So by the end of this, you want to have a clear map. One decision, no more guessing. Here's the thing about the Claude plan question. It sounds like a simple decision, but the way most people experience it isn't simple. It's this low-grade background noise. Am I on the right tier? Should I upgrade? Am I wasting money? Am I leaving something on the table by not paying? And then you search for the answer and you get either a comparison chart that's 3 updates out of date, or a review that very clearly tells you to upgrade, or a thread where people are arguing about which model does what, which model benchmarks the best here, there, but they don't actually tell you anything about your specific situation. So what you all need and what I needed is an honest version. Not, here's the features listed in the table. At this stage, doing this kind of work, what do I actually need? And that's what we're doing right here. So let's start with the free plan, because this is where most people underestimate what they already have. Claude Free is a real functional version of Claude. It's not a watered-down demo. You get access to a generally capable mode, Sonnet, which handles most everyday tasks well. You get memory, which means Claude remembers things about you across conversations. Your name, your work, your preferences. That's been available for free since early 2026. And you get projects for organizing your charts. You get free uploads, web search, artifacts, and the ability to connect MCP tools where they apply. Now that's a lot. For someone who's just getting started on AI, or who uses it a few times a week for writing, editing, quick research, while organizing thoughts, free is often generally enough. So before I go any further, a quick note. Pricing limits change at Claude. What I'm describing is accurate as of when this is filmed, but the details shift. So please, before you make any decisions, go to claude.com/pricing and verify what's going on currently. I'll put the link below. But just as a general rule, don't just trust a number on a video. Go actually to the source to make sure that's correct. Now, what free does not include is access to the Opus models, which are Claude's most powerful. Priority during peak hours, which means if a lot of people are using Claude at the same time, free users may experience some slow responses and lower daily limits. And some of the newer Pro-specific features like Research Tool and Claude Code. The honest summary, free is generally good. If you've been avoiding Claude because you assumed a free version wasn't worth your time, try it at first. I started with a free version of ChatGPT and then eventually upgraded to ChatGPT Pro. I was told that Claude might actually be a better model for what I'm doing. But my first thought was, I don't really want to go away from what I know, right? But I ventured down into the free version and got to see firsthand some different things that it offered and really enjoyed it. Just a note, if you have not seen the Claude versus ChatGPT video, I'm going to link that also for you to take a look at. But the bottom line is you might not need to spend $1. All right, so let's get into Pro here. So Pro runs about $20 a month as of the date of this video, or a little less if you pay on an annual basis. But be sure and verify this again at claude.com/pricing before acting on any number. So what does it actually unlock? Access to open smarts, which goes significantly deeper in complex tasks. Higher usage limits, roughly 5 times what free allows. Claude Code if you're doing any type of developmental work. The research feature, which allows Claude to do extended multi-source research on top of synthesize the results. Generally is useful for anyone building a real case, writing a report, or making a significant decision. I really like the Opus Deep Research. For a long time, my favorite was Perplexity Deep Research. And then ChatGPT opened up its own deep research, which I thought was generally pretty good as well. Claude's Opus is pretty good. It's pretty up there. Now, you do get priority during busy periods, so you're less likely to hit walls mid-task. So, if you're thinking about this, here's how I would frame the upgrade decision honestly. If you're using Claude a few times a week for quick tasks, free is probably fine. If Claude is actually becoming part of your daily work, something that you open every day, that you depend on for real projects moving forward, then Pro is the one to go for. The limits on free will start to feel like interruptions, and the interruptions will cost you more than $20. So the max plans, $100 and $200 a month, are for people using Claude heavily across the whole workday. Most of you are probably not at that level just yet, so I'll mention them briefly and then move on. They give you more usage headroom, not fundamentally different features. So think of it this way, it's more of what Pro already does, not something categorically new. All right, so here's the part most people don't know about, and this is the thing that actually changes how you use either plan. There is a dial inside of Claude that controls how much thinking it applies to in any given response. It's called the effort level, and it runs from low to medium to high to max. There's also an adaptive setting where Claude decides on its own to go deeper based on what you ask it. So here's why this matters practically. Low effort is fast. It's Claude giving you capable direct response without spending a lot of compute time. This is good for asking quick questions, simple edits, checking something quickly, generating a first draft you're going to rewrite anyway. So one tip from me to you is when I meet with potential customers or potential clients, I will come out of the meeting and I will dictate to Claude maybe some of the things that I gathered out of the meeting because I have the most fresh memory there at the time. I will then lower the effort rating to price it to low at that point, or I may even switch it to the lower model, simply because I'm just telling it certain things. I don't need it to respond or to think at that point, but I do need it to remember what I'm telling it. Medium is the everyday setting for most tasks. A little more thorough, still fast, handles professional work well. High effort is when you want Claude to really think about something, analysis, complex writing, working through a decision with multiple variables, building something that needs accuracy rather than speed. This takes longer and it burns more of your daily limits. So max is for the most demanding tasks. When you need Claude to go as deep as it can go, slowest, the highest limit costs are here. But the quality difference is real when the task demands for it. Adaptive lets Claude read the task and decide. If you ask something simple, it stays light. If you ask something complex, it goes deeper. For most people, most of the time, adaptive is going to be the right default. So knowing when to activate the dial and the skill set is actually a skill set in itself. Here's a practical map. Quick questions, fast edits, simple tasks, first drafts, lower medium effort, free tier. You don't need to pay for this and you don't need to burn your limits on it. Anything you're going to make a real decision based on a report, a proposal, research, a summary of research, a plan that you're going to actually execute. High effort or the research feature. This is when Pro earns its money. And this is also when pushing the dial up pays back and the output quality, it actually holds up. If you're on free and you have a task that needs high effort, do it. Just know that you're trading more of your daily limit for more quality. Plan accordingly. Hey there, I want to give a quick pause here because this is exactly the kind of thing that we work through together inside the Relevance Lab. Not just here's a feature list, but practical application. How to set up for your actual work. Which effort level to use for which kind of task. How to build a system around Claude that saves you time instead of adding to the decisions you already have to make. If you're on YouTube and you're not inside yet, it's free to join. Built for mid-career professionals 40 plus who want to use AI without the overwhelm. Link is in the description. If you're already inside the Relevance Lab watching this, then you already know. Let's keep going. All right, let me pull all this together for us here. So free is not just a stepping stone. It's a real tool. If you're just starting out, if you're new to using Claude and using it occasionally, you want to see what it does before spending anything, free is where you should be. And it's going to do more than you expect. Pro is the right upgrade when Claude is going to be part of your daily work and daily routine, because the limits are going to start costing you time rather than saving it. So the $20 earns back quickly when it's replacing an hour of your work weekly. Remember, verify the current pricing before deciding, but that's the honest frame for when an upgrade makes sense. And the effort level, dial. Is the thing nobody told you about actually changes what you get. Running everything on high because you want the best output will burn your limits fast. Running everything on low because you're afraid of limits means you're leaving quality on the table, especially when the task generally needs it. So match the setting to the task. That's the whole picture. So here's where we want to land. You came into this video with a question, probably some version of, am I on the right plan? Should I upgrade, or am I using this correctly? Those questions are real and they've been harder to answer than they should be, because most of the content about Claude plans either oversees the upgrade or undersells what the free can actually do. The honest answer is simpler than the debate made it seem. One plan decision, one dial setting. That's all you need to decide. Start on free if you haven't already. Use adaptive effort by default. Pay attention to when you hit limits mid-task on something important. That's a signal to look at Pro. And be sure to go to claude.com/pricing rather than trusting any number on a video, including this one. So you don't have to figure all of this out at once. You just have to start. And remember, you're not behind. You're just getting started.